Hi, everybody. Welcome to the first edition of Q&A for today. Some of you may have watched our previous series that lasted for a few years, and that was Prayerful Pause with the Pastor. We may still be resurrecting some of those on occasion, and they are really looking at how prayer is all around us. We can turn almost anything into prayer. Q&A for today is a little different. Over my 30 plus years in ministry, I've had a lot of people ask different kinds of questions, and you are still asking questions because questions are good. They range from things about the Bible to things about Jesus, things about church, the worship services, ethics, morals, how everything relates to what we do in the world. And so I've decided, after much prodding from Kevin in our office and some others, to answer some of your questions and to try to do it in a series. I can't guarantee it will be every weekday. That's very cumbersome sometimes, but it will be frequently, hopefully 5 days a week, but don't hold me to it. And I just decided to call it Q&A for today. Eventually, I will get it organized so that certain days will be certain kinds of questions, like Mondays might be Bible questions, and Tuesdays might be worship questions, whatever. I don't really know. I haven't worked it out. I'm going to let it kind of play out by itself. But that's what we're doing here today. And so I encourage you to please send me questions. And you can contact me if you don't have my email address already. You can contact me through the website that's at the end of this video. There is a Contact Us tab, and you can just write something there, but put Q&A in the memo line, if you would, Q&A, and I'll know it's for this broadcast. So, our question for today, the one that I've chosen to get us started, is why religion? Why do we have religions? What good are they? And are they outdated? Most of these I have no answer to, except to raise more questions and just kind of give you some thoughts that I've had over the years. For as long as people have been around, they've been trying to figure out how they got there, why things happen to them in the world. Indigenous people, going back tens of thousands of years, have asked the same kinds of questions we do today. How come one person lives and another dies? What happens to us after we're dead? How do we live a good and righteous life? Who's in control? What's happening? And in terms of our faith and Christianity, we are defined by choosing to follow the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth, who we believe to be a Son of God, who was a master teacher, who came to bring God into the world, and who was resurrected from the dead and lives with us as the risen Christ, that we feel through the power of the Holy Spirit. And we do believe that God and Jesus and the Spirit are all one, and yet separate. That's part of the mystery. Not really worshiping different gods. It's kind of like, imagine if you talk with one and the other two know it even if you're not talking with them. But some are more accessible at different times. There are times when I really appreciate thinking of God in the vastness of godness. And there are other times when I want to be able to kind of focus on a human experience. There are other times when it's just the feeling and the spirit. So I think each one of us experiences God in a different way, but religion is different. I can have a personal relationship with any deity, or with any reality, or with any dimension, or with anything that I can conceive of, or even that is beyond my conception. I can have an individual relationship with that. I can develop my own individual practices, daily rituals or weekly rituals, life rituals. But as soon as another person comes in, even if they share the basic understandings that I have, we're going to have different needs, and we're going to want to do things differently, and there's going to be a give and take, right? Trying to reach compromise about how will we worship. When will we worship? Will we worship? Will we call it worship? All that kind of stuff. And as soon as you add more than 2 people, well, then it's just a major headache of trying to coordinate everything. Religion is where we take all those personal, individual practices and beliefs, and we try to come up with some rules or explanations or agreements so that more than one person can worship at a time or can experience it at a time. And we do that through compromise, and we do that by saying, yes, these are the things we all agree on, and no, we're not going to deal with those, or we're not going to do that way. And so you have faith and you have spirit, but then you have religion. And religion is the corporate way that we take all those individual things and try to come to some agreement on how to express them as a community. I have trouble a little bit when people say I'm spiritual but not religious. We're all spiritual. We're all spirit inside. We are spiritual beings trying to live in a physical 3D world, which presents its own problems. Not the other way around. We're not physical people trying to be spiritual. We are spirit. Spirit is within each one of us. But that means that I'm living a solitary life. And some people may choose to do that. It's not particularly Jesus-driven to lead just a purely individually spiritual life. That's why he called the disciples and had his community around him. For sure, he went off by himself and encouraged them to do their own praying. It has to be a balance. And as soon as you pull a bunch of people together, boom, religion. It's not spirituality anymore, because you have common practices, because you find agreement on ways you can do things together. Does it mean that I can't do the other stuff that's individual and spiritual? Of course not. I should be doing those too. So should you. But religion, why religion? Because we human beings live in community, and we want to be able to ask and answer, find comfort and strength, solace sometimes, as a group. And we do that through our chosen religions. Thanks for being with me for this inaugural flight of Q&A for today. Send me your questions, so I'm not just here spinning my wheels, all right? I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, God bless and take care. Bye for now.